For those talking about Cole Palmer, saying Cole Palmer is going to leave Chelsea, I hope you guys are calm now, right? I hope you guys are relaxed now. Wow. During the press conference, right? For the Champions League against Napoli, Resenoir he was asked that question concerning if Cole Palmer was going to leave Chelsea. I intentionally didn't say anything about this news for the last couple of days because I know that this is not something I should actually waste my energy on. Is it possible for Cole Palmer to move to Manchester United? Yes, absolutely. Anything is possible in football. And also, there's no smoke without fire, right? But Cole Palmer is one of the untouchables at Chelsea. Cole Palmer, Caicedo, Reece James, those are untouchable players in Chelsea. It would take a lot for any club to buy them. It would take a whooping sum of amounts. In fact, it would take world record, for you to buy such amount of players or such type of players rather from Chelsea. And this is what Liam Resenoir was asked in the press conference, and this is what he has to say. Now, when he was asked that Liam Resenoir, if he had spoke, to the directors about Cole Palmer, he said there's no reason for an assurance. It's so unrealistic because how could any Chelsea fan, it's just like selling your best player. Like, how could any Chelsea fan ever think of that? Now, let me continue. He said it's come from nowhere. There's no need to have the conversation. Cole is happy. You can't stop speculation, and that's normal in football, right? But some speculation is far from the truth. There's no point having a conversation about it. Like, there's really no point. Like, how do we start? How are we going to start such conversation? Like I said, it is possible for a player, to make a move, right? But imagine Cole Palmer leaving Chelsea. It would take a huge sum of amount, for Chelsea to let go of such player. He was asked again, just for clarity and for conversation. Now, according to Sky Sports, he said, Cole, according to Liam Resenoir, he said, Cole is here very, very happy. And I can't wait to see him back on the pitch. So I'm not going to waste time on this because I know this is just such kind of news to cause distraction. I don't know who broke this news, but I don't think it's realistic at this point. I don't think it's something we should be talking about at this point. For Cole is one of the best players at Chelsea. Is Chelsea? In fact, Chelsea is built around him. In fact, is the poster boy for Chelsea, and you can't allow your best player leave just like that, right? So, there are other news to get into. So let's get into other news. So there's no need to actually wait or to talk about this particular news now. Chelsea needs a midfielder, right? Chelsea needs a midfielder. Chelsea are on the market for a midfielder. Now, there are other names other speculations like Kante and other players. Now, the most concrete one we've had in the last couple of days has been Douglas Luiz. Chelsea were seen having a conversation with Douglas Luiz to buy him to the club on loan till the end of the season. And Juventus said no, they want an outright sale. Now, they want to take advantage of Chelsea's situation because Chelsea needed a defensive midfielder because of Romeo Lavia and Esugo injured. Now, those are the players that were supposed to replace Caicedo or that were supposed to, compete with Caicedo in that same position. Now, according to Ben Jacobs today, he said Douglas Luiz has now agreed to join Aston Villa. So, Douglas Luiz currently will be an Aston Villa player on loan. So the whole fuse about him coming to Chelsea has now been put to bed. Now, before Chelsea would actually step down from that deal, before the deal was actually agreed with Aston Villa, Chelsea had a good news. Now, come with me. This is what the good news is all about. Chelsea declined the pursuit for a deal for Douglas Luiz. So I think, according to Sky Keva, he said Chelsea actually pull out of that deal. Now, because there was back and forth with Juventus. Juventus wants an outright sale. Chelsea wants a loan deal. Now, this is what, Sky Keva said. He said Chelsea declined the pursuit. Chelsea declined to pursue a deal for Douglas Luiz because they have Andre Santos now and Romeo Lavia. Romeo Lavia is back in training. Yeah, yesterday they have Andre Santos and Romeo Lavia is back in training. And Dario Esugo will be back in 3 weeks. And they now have Moses Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. So what is the need? If there is a fully fit Andre Santos, which you can't talk, you can't say because tomorrow injury may occur, which we don't pray for. Now, Romeo Lavia is back training. Now, we cannot guarantee Romeo Lavia because we all know how Romeo Lavia is. He can come back today, he might be feeling fit today, and tomorrow go back on injury, which we don't pray for. He's a player of importance to Chelsea. And Chelsea fans do not need to see him go back to injury again because he has suffered greatly since coming to Chelsea. He has not played more than 30% of the game he's supposed to play since coming to Chelsea. And Chelsea do not need him to go back on injury. Now, also, Darius Sugo will be back in 3 weeks. So if you have these players coming back, in less than a month, what is the essence of going into the market and signing players anymore? So I think Chelsea did the right thing because I've always said this. You only need to go into the market in January when you have an emergency problem on the pitch. When I mean emergency problem, probably a player of importance is injured. Now, I do not like players being signed January. I like it in the summer where you have time, because to me, I think a lot that is going to happen in January are going to be more or less like panic buys. So I like it in the summer when teams will actually calm down and choose whichever they want or whichever player they seem fit in that position. And they will have time to either seek for alternative and have time to negotiate. Now, talking about negotiation, what's going on with this same Douglas Luiz, who has currently gone, to Aston Villa, and also Chelsea, according to Fabrizio, Chelsea are still in for midfielders market. They only wanted Douglas Luiz as a backup option, not important for the project, and didn't even want an option to buy, so no agreement. I've already said it. Juventus want an option to buy. Chelsea does not want that. Chelsea just wants an outright dry loan, and that's it. Now, talking about negotiation, what is going on with Jérémy Jacquet? Chelsea are in the market for a defender, and they had to recall 24 hours ago. They had to recall back and Samino from Borussia Dortmund. Now, to me, I think that's good. Chelsea also have Sa, in Strasbourg. So, what is the whole fuse about going into the market? And if it's not an experienced player coming to Chelsea, I am not in for it. But these directors and these scouts have been, majority of the time, the likes of Garnacho and Gittins, not the best of first season for them. But when you talk about Cole Palmer, when you talk about Caicedo, they've been spot on some of these players, Estaval and the rest. Now, I am not really convinced, which is the normal reaction from Chelsea fans concerning Jérémy Jacquet. I've always been on the only opinion, get players in the summer. But Chelsea are not the only club interested in Jérémy Jacquet. Liverpool and Bayern Munich are there. Now, what did Sky Skever have to say concerning this? He said Jérémy Jacquet has expressed preference, for joining Chelsea, despite interest from multiple clubs. Talks are ongoing between Rennes, Chelsea about a deal. Rennes wants to keep the player into the summer. So they don't want to sell their best player in January. They want until the summer. So Chelsea will still have a conversation and negotiation concerning that deal. Right. So that deal should be coming up in the summer. Now, I don't want to speak too much about that now until I have concrete news concerning, because there have always been speculation concerning Jérémy Jacquet and Chelsea. Now, let's move to the next story, because they have quite some few stories here to touch on before I go into the preview for the Napoli game. Now, what's going on with one player who has been on an exile? Now, according to Ben Jacobs, Steinberg rather, he said West Ham are considering a move. West Ham are considering a loan move for Axel Disasi. He had this opportunity last summer. He rejected it. I think he wanted to make a permanent switch back to Monaco or back to Aston Villa. He was on loan last season to Aston Villa. Now, West Ham is the perfect opportunity for him to go to. He would definitely get game time, and he will have a lot of opportunities to showcase himself yet again. West Ham are struggling. Why? Because of relegation battles and all of that. I think they're 6th, 18th on the log right now, and they have to fight to get out of that relegation waters, and they need to start. In fact, this January is the best month for them. They've already signed Traore, they signed a winger already, they signed one other player. So I think they are doing good business over there at West Ham. I think this is a good opportunity for him to go to West Ham and see what comes out of that deal. So I'm not going to speak too much on that, but I wish him well, because it's not proper for a footballer not to kick the ball for 6 months, and it will always tell in their career. So if Chelsea does not want him, I think they should just let him go. I don't think it should be, stuck in the under 21s or playing for the under 21. But I would not blame Chelsea. Chelsea gave him the opportunity to leave in the summer. He refused to go. So for whatever reason, I don't know. But that being said, now let's move to the next story of his brother. His brother in Raheem Sterling, who is another player on exile. After the loan deal at Arsenal last season, Maresca still asked him not to to make another move out of the club. And also Chelsea asked him to make a move out of the club. Now, according to Peter Russell, he said, it's understood that Raheem Sterling reps and Chelsea are discussing a form of an exit, with an agreement set to be closed. It is not known yet if it will be or it will take place in the form of a permanent transfer to a new club, or it will be in the form of mutual termination. So it are two options: move permanently to another club, no chance for a loan deal; move permanently to another club, or terminate his contract. That's what it says. That's what he's trying to say. Because I think his situation is just like Disasi situation. You had the opportunity to move, because he's earning a huge amount of money for Chelsea. Trust me, he's earning a huge 300k plus for Chelsea, and anybody would just be happy to sit around and not kick the ball for 6 months or for a year or so if he's been still paid. But he should take his career serious. He has played probably one majority of everything in football, and except the Champions League, and I think he had won the Champions League with Manchester City. I don't know, but somebody correct me on that. But still, I think he has the opportunity to have moved, and he didn't move. So it's his choice. He has to make the move now if he's still serious about his career. There are offers coming. Fulham, Napoli, and other clubs are coming for his signature, but I think it's just a matter of the wages at the end of the day. So let's move to another story. Now, according to Chelsea, these are the players who have actually traveled for the Champions League game. A lot of players have traveled, including Cole Palmer, and which is a positive sign and a positive news for Chelsea. For Fana and the rest, Chelsea needs to win that game. Chelsea needs to win that game, against Napoli. If Chelsea wins that game, Chelsea automatically qualifies for the playoff of the Champions League. So I think Chelsea has to do everything possible. Players need to be in their A game. If and only if Chelsea did not draw the game against Karabakh and lost the game against Atlanta, Chelsea should or would draw the game rather. I think that was a draw against Napoli against Atlanta. Chelsea should have qualified already. But it is what it is. Chelsea won their last game against Kairat, and I think this is the best opportunity. But going over to Napoli is never an easy one. But I expect the players to step up. I expect the coach to be have more intensity, because defensively Napoli are good. Offensively they are good as well. McTominay is one of their best players already at the club, who is doing brilliantly well at the club as well. So it is never an easy one going over there to Naples to win, but Chelsea needs to do everything possible. Estaval, everybody needs to step up and play football and do well as well. So let me know what you think concerning this whole story I've given and everything, and share your thoughts also in the comment section. Don't forget to follow this page, like my video please, and share. Also please subscribe. Until I come your way again next time, I remain your boy Mike Way. Stay cool. Cheers.